welcome. Thanks so much for joining me on this sky overlay tutorial. I get asked all the time about how to use them, when to use them, so today I'm going to go over all of the details. Sky overlays can be great for so many different reasons. One of them is maybe your sky was blown out and you want to add it back in. Or how about you want to create a mood? You know, you've got a really moody image and you want to add some dramatic clouds just to capture your vision. Or maybe your sunset just wasn't as pretty as when you were shooting as you had hoped. You know, you were hoping you'd have this masterpiece of a sunset, but it just didn't provide. So now you can add an epic sky overlay to create that vision. So let's get started. Here you can see my before image. Let me pull up my before and after. So this image on the left here is before my workflow. I'm not going over my workflow in this tutorial, but you can learn that from me. So check out my website, shameless plug, ginnyhopper.com. And on the right, you can see my workflow plus the sky overlay. So in this image, here it is edited, just needing the sky overlay to be added to it. I usually like to edit my image first and then add a sky. There's really no preference. I mean, it's your own decision if you want to add it before or after. I just usually like to add it after. So before we add our sky overlay, there's definitely some things you want to keep in mind. One of them is going to be time of day, right? So if you have an image that you took at sunset, you want a sunset overlay to match the same mood. If you took an image at high noon and there's, you know, all kinds of contrast and bright highlights and dark shadows, harsh light, you don't want to add a sunset because that's not going to be believable. You want to add something with blue sky that matches the same mood and time of day. If you have an overcast image, again, you want to add an overlay that's mostly cloudy. Sometimes you can get away with doing a sunset overlay with an overcast if your image is warm enough. You can definitely do that too. So let me open up my sky overlays. All right, and another thing you're going to want to keep in mind is direction of light. So let me grab a sky overlay. Let's just grab this one. All right, so if you look at my image over here, you can see that the sun is coming from this direction. She's got highlights on her legs in the front. She's got shadows in the back. This was just after sunset I took this image. And so you're going to want to match your sky overlay highlights and shadows to your image. So I want something where the sun is coming from the left-hand side here. Luckily, this sky overlay does look like it's that direction, so we're good there. But if you needed to, you could let's see, whoops, sorry about that. You could go to image or what is it, let's see, I can't find it. You know, it's a thing that you use all the time, and then when you're recording you can't find it, right? So it's under image, yes, image rotation, and then you can just flip horizontal. So let's go ahead and move that back. All right, so that matches. Now another thing to keep in mind is the background of your image. So in this picture, you can see that the background, the mountains are pretty blurry. There's a tiny bit of detail, but really not much. So you definitely want your sky to match your background. This sky overlay has a little bit more detail, I think, than I would like. So we're going to fix that. So let's go ahead and click and drag. And then I'm just going to do Control T, make it fit the way I want it to. That'll work. Click OK. All right, so, and you can adjust the opacity over here on your layers. So we're going to go ahead and blur this to make it more believable. I'm going to leave the opacity down a little bit so I can see. But we're just going to click on that layer, the sky overlay, go Filter, Blur, Gaussian Blur. And let's just play around with this until it seems believable. Let's see. It needs to be pretty blurry, I think. So let's try 18. All right. Now that we've done that, I'm going to go ahead and add a layer mask. So that's this little rectangle down here with a circle in the middle. Click that. It shows the layer mask is all white, which means all of the sky overlay is showing. I'm going to go ahead and grab my brush tool and at 100% opacity up here, or you can just type in 100 on your keypad or your keyboard. And make sure you have a soft brush too. You want 0 hardness. So I always like to just start with getting rid of, let's make sure our black. Oops. All kinds of technical problems, huh? All right, so black is selected, and I'm going to go ahead and get rid of that major line of demarcation there to start. So obviously this is still not believable, but I had to get rid of that. Now what I like to do is bring my brush down to 10%. So I'm going to just type 10. Use my bracket keys, make my brush a little bigger, and I'm just going to tap and blend with my black brush on the layer mask on this horizon line to get it where it's a little bit more believable. Click and drag. It's really just all about blending. Let's see. So right now my opacity is at 83%. Let's bring that up. And just remove some more little details. I'm not going to get too detailed on this tutorial because I could spend quite a bit of time if I really want to be a perfectionist on it, but this is just to kind of teach you guys how to get it from point A to point B. That looks pretty good. I might even just bring the opacity down a little bit too. So yeah, so there's with it and without. And you can see I could probably take a little bit more off of here. And maybe a little more off the rocks, keep some detail in there. But yeah, again, without and with. Without and with. And you can still do so many different adjustments to the sky too to get it to where you want. One of my favorite things is go ahead and keep your sky overlay selected. Go to filter, camera raw filter, and you can go ahead and bring up some contrast. You can add magenta, you can make it warmer, you can make it cooler. So you can really adjust it to your taste. Again, you can bring the exposure down, bring the exposure up. One thing to keep in mind is if you tweak it too much, I would definitely run something to bring the noise down on it because they will get a bit noisy if you do too many adjustments. But so see, just that little bit made a difference. Let me show you before the camera raw filter and after. And there you have it, how to do a sky overlay. I hope you guys have so much fun with this. Just remember to keep those few things in mind we talked about: the time of day, the direction of light, the background and blur. You keep all those things in mind and you'll create some really cool pieces. And do know that not every image is going to work with a sky overlay. So don't try to do it to every single image. It's going to be time consuming and they don't always work, but sometimes they are just the perfect touch. And if you guys would like to play around with the sky overlay, I am offering a free download of the one that I used in this image. Just go to my website, ginnyhoppert.com. Click on the tab in the right-hand side that says For Photographers. There you will see a pop-up to sign up for my newsletter, and you will get a link to a free download for my sky overlay. And you guys want to sign up for more than that too. I'm going to be having so many more fun tutorials coming up in the future, launching new products. I'm going to be talking business, shooting, all kinds of fun stuff. I'm offering one-on-one shootouts with photographers, one-on-one mentoring. So it's a great spot to go check out if you want to keep learning. And if you're not following me on Facebook, go to facebook.com and just search Ginny Hoppert Mentoring. If you want to follow me on Instagram, it's at Ginny Hoppert. So thanks again for joining me. I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial as much as I did, and I can't wait to see what you guys create.